And it's important that we share understanding of why this is important. Why is it important for us to be building deeper relationships, building these networks out, and trying to lessen our dependence on the system? So this matters because we've marched, we've protested, we voted within systems that remain unchanged. This is a prolonged struggle. For generations, our people have been asking for the same things. If you look back at past moments of struggles and marginalized Black, Indigenous communities, you'll see some of these same demands being asked for. This is not new. So we've marched, we protested, we voted within these same systems, and still nothing has changed. But participation within these systems without withdrawal maintains the system's power, our compliance, our dependency, our obedience to the system. Yes, it's tied to our survival, so it's only logical for us to build up systems that will lessen that obedience to these systems that continue to reproduce harm. So compliance, direct or indirect, continues harm locally and globally. This movement requires more than expression. It requires responsibility. If we say all power to the people, with great power comes great responsibility. If we are ready collectively to step into our collective power, we have to take responsibility, collective accountability. All right, collective action. This is what they fear. We have a moral obligation to organize in ways that strike at the root of exploitation and not just its effects. We have a moral obligation, not just for ourselves, but for all of humanity. Everyone who this system is oppressing globally. For our comrades overseas, across borders, for all life, non-human as well, we have a moral obligation to move, to act. So feeding the fight helps us shift us towards the conditions needed for a revolutionary general strike, sustained collective withdrawal of labor, purchasing power, and consent from these systems that continue to reproduce harm. They were designed to reproduce harm. So visibility alone is not enough. We have to do more. We have to take actions that actually improve our material conditions. We have to take actions that make it easier for the most marginalized and the most vulnerable to resist with us. We don't organize for them, we organize with them. They want us out there emotional, reactionary. Again, they fear our collective, organized, disciplined, collective action. So energy must be anchored in durable structures that people can actually survive through. This is how we began building systems shaped in the image of the people. All right, so we're going to jump into what Feeding the Fight actually is. Feeding the Fight is a community program that combines food distribution, shared meals, mutual aid coordination, free stores, skill sharing, and community care workshop, political educations through practice, relationship building across neighborhoods and formations. Feeding the Fight also includes hands-on community skills sharing and care initiatives such as free car and bike inspections, basic repairs, sewing, clothing repair, and mending stations, mesh networks, workshops, Reiki, body work, and community-based healing services, free pop-up health clinics and wellness screenings, survival skill workshops rooted in everyday needs. So these are led by practitioners, mutual aid groups, and community members sharing existing knowledge. Those of us yearning for community, those of us looking for not just moments to show up, but to actually take part in building the new systems that we, some of them we just named here, but new systems in an image of the people, by us, for us. The goal here is not just service. It's not just for us to say, we're doing charity, we're doing something good, something to feel good about, but it's so much deeper. It is building the foundation for permanent community ran survival programs and systems like repair networks, expanded free clinics, and ongoing mutual aid hubs.